Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool day. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
How's your day going?
Going good. Thank you again.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Really, guys?
What? Jackson's always has those game ready.
Let's go!
Hey Bronco Nation, this is Boise State football wide receiver Ben Ford. I've had to face some setbacks on the field this past season, but toughness isn't about staying down. It's about getting back up. I am proud to represent Lithia Ford of Boise, where you can find the largest selection of Ford trucks that are built tough and, like me, handle the hits and keep pushing forward. Come check out the incredible inventory and competitive pricing at Lithia Ford of Boise. And when you buy here, you're not just getting a truck, you're supporting Boise State athletics and Lithia Ford NIL partnerships. Come see us at Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and our major sponsors, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, RowPaint.com, and the Blue and Orange Store. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're proud to stand with Boise State athletics. Through our NIL marketing partnerships, we're investing in the future of student athletes. Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there, wherever that may be. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
how we doing, Bronco Nation? Welcome on into a live edition of Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. My name is BJ Rains. This is the Sun Cruiser Studios, and it's BNN Live, presented by Lithia Ford of Boise, where Mike Prater is in the Lithia Ford of Boise studios in downtown Boise. Mike, I got some significance to my hat. I know you have some significance to your hat as well. I won the lot. Looks like I got one of those lucky ones to get the email yesterday saying that we won the lottery for the tickets for the Savannah Bananas. So my kids are luckily going to get to go. I saw the pricing. I saw home plate's actually going to be down in the corner by where the student section used to be in the north end zone there. We're going to get more information on that today when we take our tour of the North End Zone Project and talk to Nathan Burke, and that's the first event they're hoping to have the North End Zone Project open for. So looking forward to that. But I know you have you're rocking the CSI hat today.
College of Southern Idaho Golden Eagles. March Madness just isn't down to the NCAA tournament. The National Junior College Tournament is down to its Final Four, and CSI is playing tonight, and its semifinal game, I think 7 o'clock Mountain Time in Hutchinson, Kansas. Gulf Coast University, which I've discovered in the last 24 hours, is from Panama City, Florida. CSI hasn't won a national championship since 2011. They're going for number 4 in school history, which would tie the all-time junior college NCAA record because nobody else has won more than 4. So that would be very cool. And I had a nice little text message conversation this morning with CSI's athletic director, the one and only Daquan Montreal, former Boise State basketball player, and he's fired up and jacked up and said it's game day. So I've been wearing this hat straight, except for sleeping for 10 straight days. It's getting a little gooey. It's getting a little gross, and I'm not going to take it off until Daquan Montreal wins a national championship.
There you go. Hopefully that happens. Good luck to them. Bob Schuler, our old friend, the old BS baseball catcher, says the Golden Eagles, Boomer was our bat boy in 77 and 78, 700 wins in baseball.
Boomer would be the legendary Skip Walker, and I know that, and Bob knows that, and Skip and what he did with and his family and his son, and what they did to establish that baseball program down there in CSI is pretty special. But obviously the flagship program there is basketball. And Daquan Montreal, I went down there for their conference championship game a couple of weeks ago and had a chance to talk to Daquan Montreal, and he said to pass on his hellos to Leon Rice and his team, and still very much engaged in Boise State basketball, but he's doing a hell of a job down there as the athletic director and doing a wonderful job. The women's basketball program is on a roll, and so many other sports are down there on a roll. So Daquan Montreal he's the steward of my childhood fascination when it comes to sports, and he's doing a hell of a job, and always brings up Boise State basketball, and always sends his love to Leon Rice.
Well, I see you're wearing red sweatshirt there, Prater. I'm getting ripped in the chat here for wearing my red sweatshirt on the blue yesterday. They're demanding I apologize. I don't know if you saw or not, but it's opening day. I think, and we kid around. I know that they don't love people wearing red around there for Fresno State. Lee Marks once got seriously heated at me for doing it when Harson's first year, and I've told the story. We end up hashing out in a Babies R Us aisle with our wives, a couple months later, but. Spencer Danielson, I don't know if you saw or not. He stopped practice and kind of was upset that I was wearing red. And then not only that, he went to Twitter to tweet at me. Someone had posted the picture and he said, "You're better than that at BJ Rains." I'm not going to apologize. Cardinals won. We're 1-0. It was not Fresno State red, but I did have a lot of extra people looking at me. I was making sure I had pants on or something yesterday.
You know the rule. The rule's a rule, baby. You can't break the rules just because it's opening day. Red is not allowed down there. So I've actually put red on a couple of times in the past, maybe even this little hoodie, and it's not really all red. It's mostly just got a little red stripe across the top. But I've had to change clothes in the past thinking, I don't want to be that guy. So nicely done yesterday, BJ. First day of spring camp.
It was funny because I was telling Johnny the day before or earlier, I said, I wonder if I'll do it. And then I didn't think it was that big of a deal. It's just a Cardinals sweatshirt. I wasn't like I was trying to be some big rebel. And then I walk out there and everybody's like, "Oh, he did it. Oh," and then Dale comes beelining right over, almost pulled a hammy to come over and say something. And then Spencer said something. So I don't know. You know me, Prater. That makes me want to do it again on Tuesday. So I don't know. Well,
that's probably one of the only things that you and I have in common. So I'm kind of the same way when it comes to that stuff. So I'll applaud you on that one.
They're saying it's San Diego State red, Washington State red, UNLV red. Yeah, I don't know. It was a fun, good practice though yesterday. Colder than I thought. I wore shorts and I was regretting that big time. It was windy. It was cold. but boy, was it good. And by the way, here in about 4 minutes, Cage Casey's going to join us. You guys had fun with him in studio yesterday on KTIK. That was a great interview in studio yesterday. Folks can go back and watch that interview on all the KTIK channels. But Cage Casey also going to jump on here in a couple minutes with us as well. So you can hear both interviews and probably some similar questions, maybe different. We'll see. But appreciate Cage for coming on again with us in a couple minutes. But Mike, it was good to, and we'll get to some basketball talk later as well. I haven't had a show yet since the RJ Keene stuff happened, and we'll talk about all that. But first practice out on the blue, I noticed some changes and some things. I got some notes here, but it was just fun, even though it was cold, to be out there watching football again.
The first day of spring camp, the first day of fall camp, the first day of the season, those are 3 important days, and it was really cool. Yeah, it was cold. It was chilly. At one point, I was like in my house, and I thought, it's a little hot in here, and maybe I need to peel off some clothes. And then you all of a sudden get down there, and you're glad you wore your layers because it was chilly, but really good energy, really good excitement. I know we talked about Spencer saying the other day that practice is going to be different, and I didn't really go in there looking for different details. I kind of focused on 1 or 2 things that I wanted to keep an eye on, but you could tell it was more business than usual. It was a lot more serious than usual. I don't know if that was one of the changes. Less music, less trash talking, a lot more efficiency, and just bang, 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 focus and get the job done. So I thought it was more business than usual because in the past it's always been a lot of fun and a lot of goofing around. And there was some of that yesterday, but I really thought they were buttoned up for the first day of spring camp and really got after it business-wise.
Yeah, it started right from the start. They do their kind of stretching over there on the far end by the north end zone, and then they break it down and all jog to midfield to do the little hype circle thing. They started jogging to midfield, and they blew the whistle and said, no, not fast enough, go back. And so they had to go back to the line and redo the jumping jacks or whatever and all jog to midfield for the hype circle. There was a couple different things that I noticed, one of which was for the team periods. They broke them into 2 halves. They had the 50-yard line, and they'll do that for the scout team, offense, defense, and practice. But in my, I'm sure it's probably happened at some point, but in my, 14 years now coming to practice, I don't remember them kind of doing the double team periods at the same time, essentially doubling the team reps in that 10-minute period. So you had, I think, the 1s and 3s on one end, the 2s and 4s on the other, alternating, and you basically got twice as many team reps during the team periods. And so, coaches obviously had to split up, and in the past they would just do 1 set, rotate that in, but now they can go back and watch the film. And I don't know if that was just a day one thing or something they plan to do moving forward, but you got twice the team reps. It was a little tougher for us to kind of know which end who's in the quarterback down there now. Okay, now we got to come back down to this end. But it did seem, by the way, our boy Elvis Whitted, don't know if you noticed this or not, but he's already a favorite of mine. He was out there wearing cleats. He was cleated up out there for practice 1. So when you get the new wide receivers coach out there wearing cleats, he means business. But it was good to see him and Terrence Brown. And they had some more competition periods, Mike, where they, during a break, had everybody go to the sides and called out a DB, called out a receiver, and had a little one-on-one drill in front of the whole team right there. The competition period, I thought, was raised a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. And that was kind of cool. Although there was one minor little tweak last year when they did the competition periods, especially with the kicker. They had the entire team, all 100 dudes and all the coaches and even the staff would get out there on the field and gather around almost like a tight circle around the kicker to create that pressure of chaos. And I noticed yesterday when they were doing that, everybody was on the sideline. You were still giving still trying to distract him, still yelling at him and stuff, but you had offense on one side, defense on the other side, as opposed to out there on the field. Just a minor little thing, but those competition periods are still creating a lot of energy and a lot of pressure for these guys. So that was cool to see. I like the fact that they split it up, like you said, with the 1s and the 3s and the 2s and the 4s. That was a little bit tougher, but I was kind of keeping an eye on the 2 freshman quarterbacks, so that was a little bit easier for me. But yeah, those were some of the things. The word for me was efficiency, and that was a big part of it. It almost seemed like they got double the work in the same amount of time, and that was pretty cool to see.
Well, I know our next guest is a big Lithia Ford of Boise fan. We appreciate Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor, Jim Sturkin Company. Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out online, lithiafordboise.com. And, of course, we're in the Sun Cruiser studios here. Perfect time this weekend. Pick up a vodka lemonade, iced tea lemonade, Sun Cruiser. We appreciate both of them for their support of BNN. And Cage, I'm sorry if you're tired of talking to Mike Prater. I forgot to tell you he was co-hosting with me today. But you were in studio with those guys yesterday. We appreciate you jumping on for a few minutes today. Cage Casey, nice enough to join us here on the show. How we doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
We're doing great, man. Doing great. Appreciate you for jumping on. I know you had a busy schedule after the combine, and appreciate you making some time, or not the combine, the pro the other day. Appreciate you making a couple time for some interviews here and stuff. What just you've had a couple days now to take a deep breath and kind of look back, but what was I know you'd done the combine and all that, but what was the pro day experience like for you?
I thought it was awesome. I mean, being back in Boise, training with the guys, all the guys going through pro day. I mean, it was a great experience. I mean, I especially loved, working out with Mason and getting back on the field with him, doing O-line reps, holding the shield for him holding the shield for me. It was a great experience overall.
Now, we saw you taking the center reps. You mentioned doing some stuff with Mason. I'm sure you've been working on that. I mean, what's kind of your thoughts? Because I know some guys get a little stubborn and say, no, I'm a tackle, and that's what I want to do. And and that sometimes hurts them. Sometimes they make it, but obviously some see you as a guard. And if we had Brad Bedell on, and he was saying if you're playing guard, you got to be able to play center and take reps there. So what's been your kind of thought process on what your best shot is? And obviously we saw you taking some of those center reps the other day.
Yeah, I mean, I just really want to have an open mind always whenever I'm going through this process. And, scouts come out to me, say, hey, we want to see you snap. So I work on snapping. Really, it's just whatever can get me on the field is what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to listen to whatever the scouts, whatever the coaches are saying they want to see from me, and I'll show that I can do it.
Hey, Cage, first of all, I apologize. You stuck with me 2 days in a row. I almost kind of feel like you're stalking me at this point, but I do appreciate that. But, the one question I was thinking about yesterday that we didn't get quite to, and we talked about you on our show, is the emotions of pro day for you. And you just talked about how it was really cool for you to be out there with Mason. It was a business day. It was a really important business day for you, but it's kind of like your last ceremonial time on the blue with the fellas. Did you feel any kind of emotions at all?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, knowing that was the last time I was going to get an official workout with those guys, I mean, it's crazy to look back on and think that was truly the last time I'll be able to work out with all those guys in one place at the same time. I mean, it was an amazing day.
We're going to talk a lot about your future, and we cannot wait for your future. As a matter of fact, 1 month from today, baby, 1 month from today, you're going to be in the NFL, and that's going to be really, really exciting. I think I might know your answer, but I want to hear it in your own words. Going back and reflecting on Boise State, how do you put it in words? What did Boise State experience mean for you?
It's a family. I mean, when you truly think about it, I was there for 4 years. It flew by, but every moment I spent with those guys was so amazing. And, the connection that we had in the facility, outside the facility was, it's second to none, really.
Well, Cage, with that said, I guess just the ending, I know wasn't maybe the perfect ending that you had hoped for, with just some of the stuff that came out and some of the comments and things. You made the decision not to play in the bowl game. I don't know if you want to, I haven't heard you touch on that before. I think a lot of people thought that was a smart decision. Nobody really had a huge issue with that, but what was just your take on your decision to not play in the bowl game? And then I didn't know if there was anything you wanted to clarify in terms of why you didn't come down to LA with the team. And I know some fans were kind of maybe unfairly criticizing you for that.
Yeah, it was a hard decision. Like I said, Boise State is family to me, and I wanted to play with those guys, but I had to make the best decision for my family, best decision for me going forward. I had to learn how to snap, like we were talking about with the pro day, and that's a big difference from playing left tackle to bumping all the way inside at center. And so that really came to the decision. But like you were saying with not traveling, I wanted to be there with the guys. I was talking to Kyle and Lou, and they were like, we would have loved to have you in the film room with us at practices, just watching, being like a secondary coach almost. But I respect Coach G's decision. It was his decision to say, hey, you're just not going to be traveling with us. You're not going to be around the facility this week. I respect it, but would have loved to be there with the guys.
Was that at all tough coming back all week? And I don't know, post game there were some comments made where maybe some of the teammates were a little frustrated. I don't know. Hopefully everything's cool, but was that at all has it been awkward at all, I guess, since coming back?
No, everything's been really great.
What for you? And again, Cage Casey, our guest, and great. Appreciate you for explaining all that. But by the way, Prater, the day before the bowl game, when all this news broke, I guess, and everyone was freaking out that Cage Casey wasn't going to play in the game. Cage, where were you that day?
I was getting ready to leave to Dallas.
I'm wearing this Ford hat, and I mentioned Jim Sturk. He told me that you were presenting a pretty large check to a charity for your pancake blocks.
Yeah, we went to the Boise Rescue Mission, me and Jim, and he gave his part of the check, I gave my part. I'm really happy he was there to match my donations for this year of pancakes. Big hats off to that guy. But it was an amazing moment being able to participate with the Boise Rescue Mission and see how they're affecting the community.
And I know Bronco 130 says here is your favorite meal pancakes, but Jim told, Prater, I heard that Jim was willing to pay the full amount, and Cage was like, no, that's that money came out of Cage's NIL money. Cage has been you and your wife's pockets to want to do that, and I think that's really cool, man. And so publicly, we just wanted to say, make sure you get more recognition for that, because it was like $3,000 or more, right? It ended up being a pretty good sized check that you had to get out of your own money, and others were willing to pay it for you, and you said, nope, that's our money, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. It was me and Jim both gave $6,000 each, and it was just for the pancake blocks throughout the year.
Do you even like pancakes?
Oh, they're awesome. I got my protein pancake mix at my house right now. Sometimes I'll mix it up with waffles, but pancakes are great.
Oh, that's funny. Even a professional athlete turns a pancake into something protein and professional. So I love that. So nicely done. What are you, couple of times a week?
Yeah, for sure.
I love that.
That's pretty funny. Cage, so what was you were training down in Texas, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously you had the combine, and then how do you kind of look at your draft stock now compared to when you decided to enter your name in the draft? And I went to the draft and covered Ashton in Green Bay last year, and I remember flying home the next day, and they already had mock drafts out and stuff, and there were some saying, oh, he's going 20th, and the day after last year's draft. So you've obviously been in the spotlight all year, and everything's been dissected. But how do you kind of feel about just the work you've put in, from the end of the season till now, and kind of where things sit for you?
Yeah, no, I'm extremely happy with where I'm at now. The point I'm at now, it doesn't matter which team, where I get drafted, when I get drafted. I actually have to go there during rookie camp and OTAs and show that I can actually play. And that's what's going to earn me the spot on the team. It's not going to be what round I'm picked. It's going to be how I perform when I get to each team respectively. And I feel very confident. I'm so confident at this part of the process that I'm going to go out, show what I can do at these camps, and be extremely successful.
Cage, you told us yesterday that you've met with pretty much every NFL team at this point. I know a couple here at Pro Day, and certainly a lot at the Combine. You did the Senior Bowl. You've done all this kind of stuff for the Dog and Pony Show for the last 100 days. Where do you think you've helped yourself the most?
I definitely do think it's the snapping, showing that I can be extremely versatile and play all 5 positions. I showed at the Senior Bowl I could play a little bit of guard, right tackle, right guard, hop on the other side of the O-line. But I think at Pro Day, showing that I can also snap. Like you were saying, BJ, if you're playing guard, you also got to be able to play center. I think that shows that I'm incredibly versatile, and it's going to help earn me a spot on a roster.
Was that so when you went down there had you ever snapped in high school or anything before? Or was that literally when you did that the first time?
That was the first time.
Wow. And it's kind of for people that don't know the knee deep, between the weeds, football stuff. Is that, it looks pretty easy. You just snap the ball. But how hard is that to make that change at this point in your football career when you've never done it before?
It's really hard. It feels weird, almost more than hard, just because the stance, you're in a square stance instead of staggered. Your hands on the ball. You have to actually get off on the snap count. But it was definitely weird to transition to it. But I'm pretty confident with where I'm at now.
I don't think I've ever asked this question in terms of learning how to snap. What's the difference, and maybe what's more difficult, with the quarterback under center or within the shotgun? Because you have to learn both, and I would imagine technically they're both completely different.
Yeah. Really, it's just how you're holding the ball. But I would say shotgun's harder for me. It was harder for me to learn. You actually got to be accurate throwing it 5 yards back, whereas under center, you're basically just handing it to the quarterback. Shotgun was definitely the harder one to learn. I think I learned under center in a week. I just started doing it 3 weeks ago. So I'm feeling pretty confident with under center, but shotgun still is a work in progress.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you think you're any good at it? But I guess you just answered that. You're okay under center and keep on practicing it with the shotgun, huh?
Yeah, they had me doing trap pulls from under center, so I'd hope I was pretty good at it.
So what's the next month look like for you? We mentioned a couple teams that had their, I think the Saints had their run game coordinator in town, and then the assistant offensive line coach with the Vikings in town. What's the next month look like? Do you have some visits planned? You just going to keep working out and get ready? What's kind of the next month till draft day look like?
Yeah, a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of just working out, to actually get in football shape now. I was just in shape to run some 5-10-5s and 3 cones, but now I got to actually be ready to get in a 3-point stance and block somebody in front of me. And so that's really what the next month is looking like for me, is just getting in true football shape and being able to perform.
The tape you put together, you think about what was it, 2 penalties, I think it was, or you had the big stretch that Jay Tuss jinxed you on because you had one the next game after he posted about it. But the lack of penalties, the lack of injuries, the lack of giving up sacks. There's some guys that, maybe test well, but don't necessarily have the tape. There's some guys maybe, other way around, whatever. But you have a lot that you can lean back on in terms of the stats and the tape. You got to feel pretty good about the body of work you put together the last 3 years.
Yes, absolutely. I'm very confident.
Yesterday, Cage, on our show, you mentioned getting in football shape, and like you said, you spent the last 100 days getting your body just in really good athletic shape, and you look fantastic, by the way, really lean and mean, and you've done a nice job there. But now you've got 4, 5, 6 weeks to get into football shape for that first camp. How do you get in football shape?
It's going to be a lot of sled work, a lot of run game against a guy holding the pad. It's going to be a lot more of hitting things rather than just running off the ball against air, as you do when you're doing combine testing. And so really what it looks like is a lot of resistance stuff, just O-line blocking, run game, pass game.
And do you get that full on access? And I saw you at BSU the other day, so full on access at BSU, do all your work down at BSU. Are you staying in Boise for the next month? Is that the plan?
Yeah, I'm staying in Boise next month. I'll be doing a lot of workouts at Boise. Also, I'll be doing a few workouts with my wife at Villa Sports, but that'll be the good mix of where we work out.
Now, Prater, I think if we want to raise some more money for the Boise Rescue Mission or something here, maybe we let folks put up $20 and they can pad for them once or twice and see if they can hang in there.
I've always wanted to get some of those big pads and just start whacking at you guys, man. That looks like a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Our coach does it all the time. I'm sure he'd let you get a swing at it.
Hey, we just had the first spring practice yesterday, Cage. Before we let you go, I'm wondering if you could touch on some of the returners and what this offensive line is going to look like next year, because I know some guys are out, obviously, which is disappointing, this spring. So it's some real young guys that are getting some work. But Kyle Cox came in for you in the bowl game. What do you make of him and the next wave of guys here, because it is going to be some new guys stepping into some big shoes?
Yeah, I'm extremely happy with where Kyle is at right now. He's an extremely disciplined guy. I'm extremely confident that he's going to be able to step into whatever spot that he needs to be in and perform elite and do his job. And overall for the whole O-line, I was there for 4 years. The culture has stayed the same. I'm sure it's the same this year, from what I've talked to guys about. And that's just a culture of hard work. And it's a culture of, like I was saying, with learn how to snap for me. It's a culture of open-mindedness of, hey, where do I need to be? What's my role on this team this year? And there's no complaining. Everyone's just buying into the program and buying into what they need to do each and every single day to perform. And I think that's what's going to allow this O-line unit to build up again and be extremely successful.
Give me one more name. I got my roster. If I'm going out to practice next week, who's one more guy that is either just scratching the surface, maybe he's still a year away, but who's a guy that's ready, you think, in the next year or two to really become a big time guy here?
Yeah, I think Jason Steele had a great year last year, and I think he's going to take a whole nother step this year and just performing and perfecting his game. I played with him a lot last year, and he was a great guy to go with, along with his communication, how efficiently he was able to read the field and block aggressively. He was great last year, but I think he's going to just take one huge step up this year and perform amazing.
Prater, you good?
I'm good, bud. I'm good. I think Cage is sick and tired of hanging out with me.
Yeah.
He's got things to take care of, man. Let's go.
Well, we appreciate it, Cage. Thanks a lot, man, for the time, and looking forward to following you and probably bug you again closer to the draft or right after the draft. And do you have who's your favorite team growing up? I'm sure you're going to say it, whatever team drafts me. I know everyone says that, but did you have a childhood favorite team growing up?
Yeah, my favorite team growing up was the Seahawks. Coming from Portland, I had to choose out of the Seahawks, 49ers, and Denver, so I chose Seahawks there.
Well, as Scott says, Darren College, Ryan Clady, Matt Paradis all have Super Bowl rings. I think Cage is going to be the next big Bronco big man to get one. So pretty cool lineage of left tackles at Boise State that you're adding your name to in terms of being drafted. So we appreciate you for jumping on, Cage. Thanks a lot for making the time for us, man. And good luck the next month. And we'll catch up with you again down the road, hopefully.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Appreciate it, Cage. Cage Casey with us here on Bronco Nation News.
You talked about the lineage at left tackle yesterday, or lineage of left tackle, and yesterday we talked about that a little bit. It's crazy, man. And some of the numbers that I have here are pretty cool. It all started with Darren College in 2002. That's 24 seasons from Darren College in 2002 to Cage Casey last year. They've had the left tackle in waiting in place every single year except one, when Archie Lewis was the starting left tackle in 2016. But check this out. That's 24 seasons, 7 NFL players, and those 7 NFL players have played a combined 543 games in the NFL, and they've earned, this is official NFL money, $197 million. Wow. That's Boise State's left tackle lineage since college. Clady, Potter, Leno, Odiombo, Cleveland, Ojukwu, and then next in line is Cage Casey, and it's amazing. I mean, I know we talk about the left tackle lineage at Boise State an awful lot. I don't think it still gets enough credit. This is going to probably be the first time or the second time in 24 years where we're going into a season with a left tackle battle, because, Etheridge, the D2 kid from Colorado State Pueblo, was the first guy in line yesterday. We know that Cox is the guy, so maybe it starts right there. There's going to be a battle at left tackle, and that's going to be fascinating to watch, BJ.
Yeah, and they had, I think, the streak. I know Chad Kripe always phrased it a weird way, but multi-year starter at left tackle. They had I think 6 up until because even Ojukwu has played in the NFL, but I don't believe he was drafted, right? So I think it was six straight multi-year starters at left tackle got drafted at Boise State, and this will be 7 out of 8. But as you're saying, even John Ojukwu still made it to the league there. But if you were a multi-year starter at left tackle for Boise State, going back 2 decades, you're pretty much guaranteed to play in the NFL or start or get drafted. It is pretty crazy, and it's with 3 or 4 different O-line coaches during that period as well. It's not
Absolutely. A lot of offensive line. I mean, not a lot, but yeah, enough offensive line turnover. So it's 24 years of some serious. I don't think Ohio State, Texas, Alabama can say that they've put in the same left tackle for 20, or they've put in the left tackle into the NFL for 24 consecutive years, and the kind of lineage that Boise State's had. So it's been really fortunate to have that kind of success. And you know what? Here's the best part that probably doesn't get talked about enough. These are all really good dudes, man. I mean, Darren College is a great dude. Ryan Clady, Nate Potter, we know that story. Charles Leno is partially and mostly responsible for Cage Casey. Those two have become really close. They work together in the offseason. Charles Leno has mentored Cage Casey more than anybody else outside of the Boise State football family. Reese Odiombo with the surprise draft pick from Seattle. And then here comes Ezra Cleveland, who just got a second monster contract. Ojukwu has been traded, so he's with the second team and still trying to get traction, but somebody still wants him. Somebody's still paying him. I love it. And then a month from tonight, 1 month from tonight, Cage Casey will be in the NFL.
Yeah, and you mentioned Ezra Cleveland. He was another guy that played left tackle and then slid into guard in the NFL and has had a lot of success at guard. So the tackle to guard thing isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No, not at all. I mean, the fact that he's trained for it and prepared for it is pretty spectacular. And he hasn't just showing up on pro day or the combine and just going out back for 15 minutes and training when it comes to snapping. He's been doing it all day, every day, hours and hours, calluses on his hand type of stuff. He's really been out there taking it very, very serious. That dude is so dedicated and so strong, and you can just tell he's so focused. And he's also got just kind of a laid back, chill attitude. He's going to Park City for the draft, and he's taking his wife and his dog, and they got an Airbnb, and she wants to go shopping, and he wants to sit by a lake with his dog. No family, no friends, no phones, nothing. He'll have one phone They're going to try to go down on Wednesday, chill on Thursday, hang out by the phone on Friday, see what happens. And it's really, really cool that he's just this chilled kind of dude. He just wants to hang with his lady and his dog and get a job. And I think we can all relate to that. And it's really, really cool to see.
And he's going to be one of those guys, I think, that's, obviously probably not going in the first round on Thursday, but I think that second day, late second day, you're hoping not early third day, but he's going to be one of those guys. I don't feel like I wouldn't put I feel good about him going, second, third round, but I don't feel so good that like I would, be shocked if it didn't happen. I think he really is one of those guys that could be second, third, but it really wouldn't shock me if you go to bed and then he's an early pick on Saturday. And so I remember Reese Odiambo, I think it was like the last pick of I remember I was putting my I had finished my story for the paper, there was like 4 picks left. I was putting my computer away and I had filed my story and I get a text from, I think it was Reese Odiambo's agent that just said Seahawks. And I was like, I think it was Reese Odiambo. There was somebody that went, okay.
It was Friday. It was Friday night. It was 11:30, 11 o'clock, because I was on the Statesman Sports Desk and our paper was done. We were done. And then all of a sudden we had to pull it back and change it because I think that caught a lot of us off guard.
I got a text that just said Seahawks, and they were still picking like 4 picks away with the last pick. And it's 2 picks, it's 3 picks, whatever. But I feel like there is a little different significance in feeling, Mike, if you go on day 2 versus day 3. But I know you're confident, or I've heard you say you still believe he's going to be a day 2 pick. And I sure hope that's the case. Cause like I said, I remember, and I'm not even saying he's sliding. People make stupid mock drafts, whatever. It's not like he's sliding, but I do remember driving home or flying home from Green Bay the next day after last year's draft, and the Athletic had their early mock draft, and he was like 23rd to the 49ers or something. I mean, he was at one point a first round pick. And like I said, I'm not saying that to say he's sliding at all. Those mock drafts a year away are crazy, and he's done nothing. Maybe the bench press he was super happy with. I don't know. But like I said, his stats, what he did this year, I don't think he did anything to quote unquote slide. So we'll see where he goes, but I hope you're right. And I hope he can sneak into that day 2 window.
The only thing, I'm very confident that he's going to sneak into that day 2 window, but we all have to, this is the time of year, guys, and it goes all the way back until the late 1990s when Boise State and Dirk Cutter and some of those guys, Matt Hills, started going into the NFL draft, and we started learning about this NFL draft process. More times than not, we're surprised when it comes to a Boise State dude, and the surprise usually isn't good. It's the Jay Ajayi's slipping. It's the other players slipping. And every 3 drafts, we sit around and go, what the hell happened? I can't believe this happened. Yep. It happens constantly. It happens all the time. And it's the G5 transition to pro football, and it's not just a Boise State thing. So you're right. There's going to be surprises. There's always going to be surprises. If Cage Casey goes with the 7th pick on Saturday morning, nobody's going to be surprised because of the history of what's happened. At this point, though, I think we can all firmly project that he's going to be a day 2 guy on that Friday night. So cannot wait to see it happen. Every one of these left tackles we talked about have deserved the money and the accolades and the career that they've built for themselves because they're great dudes and great athletes. And Cage Casey's just next in line, and it's really, really cool to see.
All right, there's some basketball news I want to touch on as well, and if we have any other final spring thoughts, we got about 5 minutes left here with Mike Prater. I want to thank Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. Idaho Central Credit Union. Check them out online, ICCU.com. Hey, if you did not win the lottery for Banana Ball, but you want to win one of 2 trips, you can go see them in Eugene, Oregon, or you can see the tailgaters and the party animals right here in Boise. You can enter to win at Jackson's when you buy 2 body armor products using your Let's Go Rewards app. So buy 2 body armor products using your Let's Go Rewards app at Jackson's. You can also get buy one for $1, and that enters you into the contest to possibly win a Banana Ball tickets for Eugene or Boise. So keep that in mind. Banana Ball from our friends at Jackson's when you purchase 2 body armor products. Hey, TacoBellWorks.com, SON Management Group, Nicolason family, whether it's the crunchy chicken cantina taco, the crispy chicken strips, the breakfast quesadillas, so many great options at Taco Bell. We got 4 baseball games for the boys this weekend. I'm sure we'll be at Taco Bell at some point. And we were there the other day, Mike, and the Nicolason family was in there eating Taco Bell. Like, it's that good. The owner and his family go there to eat. TacoBellWorks.com. Check them out. We appreciate the Treasure Valley Taco Bell locations, and we appreciate Travis Hawks as well. The Blue and Orange Store online, theblueandorangestore.com. If you're looking for Boise State gear, whether it's sweatshirts, jerseys, caps, bumper stickers, you name it, they got it at the Blue and Orange Store online at theblueandorangestore.com, or where you can order anywhere in the world, or the 2 locations, including the location down at the Boise State Hall of Fame, where you can get that customized jersey available in minutes. The official in-venue provider of Boise State merchandise is the Blue and Orange Store online. Again, theblueandorangestore.com. All right, RJ Keene, he announced that he is leaving Mike Prater. I tweeted out, and I think you've heard similar, but I tweeted out yesterday that I'm hearing it's becoming, less and less likely they're going to be able to hang on to Drew Fielder given the money that's being thrown around. I mean, this stuff is crazy. And I did put in parentheses, like, let's remember, he's not actually in the portal yet. And so that's why it is crazy how this stuff happens with agents, parents, whatever. But there's people wanted roster turnover, and they're going to get it. I don't know if they're going to necessarily get it at the spot that they all wanted, because I think we all said this rebuild needs to start with retaining Drew Fielder. But everybody has a budget, and at some point, I heard a GM call it one time the puke point, where you get to a point where you just can't go any further, a guy because of the salary cap or whatever else you have, or you just don't trust, and I think, unfortunately, I hope I'm wrong. I hope they were able to get it, but he would, at this point, my understanding is if they get Drew Fielder, Prater, he would be leaving big time dollars on the table from some other schools to do it. But we'll find out with him. But I guess the first domino did fall with Keene.
Yeah, and Keene, that's fine. I'm ready to move on from Keene, and that's not a personal attack at all. It's just you're trying to build a basketball roster and put the pieces together and find this chemistry. And it seemed like that's the piece that we're if the college basketball world and Boise State basketball roster is changing, I don't think any of us have any angst there. Losing Drew Fielder would be. It'd be devastating, dude. It would be absolutely devastating. It'd be devastating to everybody. It'd be devastating from Leon Rice to you and me, to the media, to the fan base. Losing Drew Fielder would be absolutely stunning. This basketball program is facing one of the most critical off seasons in the history of Boise State basketball going into the Pac-12, and the expectations that JD and Cody want for this basketball program, especially with everything that's going on in Extra Mile Arena and the new conference and Gonzaga and stuff. And you really don't have anything to sell right now. And I'm not being negative. You can't sell the coaching staff because there's too much angst. You can't sell the roster because we don't know what's going on. The seating ticket arrangement inside Extra Mile Arena is a disaster. At least the PR, it's not a disaster. I think Boise State's doing the right thing, but they're going to ruffle some feathers, and the PR factor is going to be sticky and gross. And it's just kind of the weird timing. I understand why they're doing it, and I'm glad they're doing it, and it's going to be a long process to fix the atmosphere inside Extra Mile Arena, but it's going to ruffle a lot of feathers. So there really isn't anything to sell to this program right now other than a Drew Fielder. And if you lose Drew Fielder, man, that's going to be an emotional gut punch. I don't feel a lot of emotional gut punches in my business anymore. If Drew Fielder leaves, I'm going to feel an emotional gut punch. That's going to hurt, and that tells me that Boise State basketball, regardless of who else they bring back, is really starting from square one, and that doesn't feel very comfortable to me at all.
No, and I kind of, I hear a lot of stuff from boosters or whoever else, fans, sources in the program, and a lot of this stuff changes every day, so I try not to just put everything I hear out there because you just never know what it's going to be. But I felt pretty confident. Enough people have told me what's going on with Fielder here that I put that out yesterday, and that's something I don't typically do, but I feel pretty confident in saying that if he were to come back to Boise State, Prater, he would be leaving significant money on the table. And so it's just the way this game has come. It's crazy. Like I said, he's not even technically in the portal, but I'm sure Boise State coaches are talking to kids that aren't in the portal. Like, everybody's doing it. I'm not trying to say it's some, dirty pool thing on this end. It happens with everybody. But the fact that he's, getting what I'm hearing, $2+ million offers out there, I mean, it's pretty crazy. And I heard Boise State is going to up their budget, Mike. They're adding to the budget. They're going to do what they can to get a talented roster. But, Drew Fielder's going to be tough. Andrew Meadow, with the stats he's put up the last couple of years, I'm hearing that's going to be a tough one as well. And so, it really is going to be a new look team next year. I mean, I think there's a chance Pearson Carmichael could stay. I think that NATO and some of these guys, I think Aarons is the one we're kind of waiting on. It's been pretty quiet there. I haven't heard anything on Spencer Aarons. I don't think he maybe finished the season. I mean, he had some really bright moments, but I don't think him or NATO necessarily finished the season, on a I don't want to say they regress, but I think Nato and Aaron's both had some positive moments, but also, maybe didn't finish the season the way you would have liked. But I still think with big off seasons, those guys can be contributing players. I'm not ready to give Nato the starting point guard job in 35 minutes, but I think Aaron's is a guy that you would want to for sure find a way to keep around. And yeah, we'll see kind of who they build this around. But yeah, 100%, man. If you would have lost everybody on the roster, but you kept Drew Fielder and built around him, I think a lot of people would have been okay with that and found a way to get excited. But your one star player, you lose him, that would suck. But I don't know what Boise State's supposed to do. I mean, they have a budget that's a microscopic budget for rev sharing compared to some of these other schools. And if a school wants to give Drew Fielder, 2/3 of what Boise State's revenue share is, Boise State can't do that. They can't. I mean, they're just it stinks. But and I'm sure people find a way to rip Leon Rice for this or whatever else, or there's major problems. Nobody wants to play for coach. Like, no, if you're getting offered one amount and someone's offering more than double, and we're talking 7-figure amounts of money here, some of these guys are just good for them. Go get your money. Good for you. Good luck next season. But Boise State, there's not a lot they can do in some of these cases.
Well, that's true, but there is something that Boise State can do, and there's two pieces to this puzzle. When it comes to these kids, they want two things. They want cash or financial security, because the packages come with housing and a car and cash. And so, hey, I want a downtown condo, a nice car, and X amount of cash. And they also want to be able to win. And if Boise State, let's say Boise State had 4 other players coming back, and let's say Boise State, the core of their program was kind of locked in, and the core of this program was, I get the sense that Boise State basketball is going to go out and compete for a Pac-12 title next year. And on paper right now, this basketball team is better than Gonzaga. Let's say if that was the scenario. I think that's a powerful draw to keep Drew Fielder here. If Boise State can offer him $1 million and a roster that says we're going to win next year, and proof that roster still does exist, I think they can compete with the $2 million offer guys, because $1 million goes a long way in Boise. And depending on the program you're going to, maybe Boise State's got a better chance to win. So they like the financial security and they like to win. And right now, Boise State's, they're working their asses off behind the scenes to try to put together as much financial security as they can. So I give them credit for that. And they've obviously been working their asses off trying to win basketball games. That part, the competitive part, and the roster as it sits right now, there's nothing to keep this roster, to keep these guys together. You can't sell a core of this roster. Hey, we're going to win. We wouldn't be surprised if this entire roster was gone. I mean, especially the top 3 or 4 or 5 guys. So you can't sell that. And I'm not sure if Boise State could have done anything more. They obviously try to win as many games as they can. But if you don't have a winning program, that's really going to hurt. And when I say a winning program, Boise State obviously has a winning program, but they don't have anything to sell to next year with conference championship type of hopes. They're kind of starting from scratch, and that's a tough sell to a guy like Drew Fielder when somebody's offering him $2 million.
No doubt. We saw it with an Ashton Genty. He took less because he knew he had a chance to go to the college football playoff and be on a good team and all that. And he was comfortable and he took less. But at some point, I mean, when if Kentucky or somebody's offering you, big time money, and you've always dreamed of something like that, and you don't know what your future holds. I mean, if it's 1 million versus 2.3, I don't care how good your team is. It's hard to turn money like that down. And we'll never be. I always get, in a tough spot because we'll never be in that situation. I hope my kid is someday, but I mean, I'll never be in that kind of position in terms of knowing what that's like to have to make that kind of decision for a college athlete. And so it can't be easy. I understand it, but yeah, it seems like major changes are coming. One thing we haven't talked about, Prater, and we're over time here, but I mean, the usage. He ain't going to Kentucky and getting 7 3-point attempts a game, or he ain't going to, UCLA or wherever else. And I'm just throwing out Kentucky. I have not heard that as any kind of team. I've heard the quote Blue Bloods, and I've heard multiple teams still playing in the Sweet 16 as of yesterday. We're interested in him, but I just do wonder too if he could come back and get 20 shots a game next year, or whatever. He'd be the man, and I wonder how much that is what Boise State is selling as well. Because if you go be the is Drew Fielder the starting center at a Kansas or somebody? I don't know. If he is, and he's that big of a star, then get your money and good luck to you. And maybe we didn't realize what we had this year, but I do think his usage and his stats would go down somewhere else.
I would think so. I would certainly think so. And his only goal in life, I don't think he has any dreams of winning an NCAA title or going on a run, or I don't think he cares about winning a conference championship in college basketball. He calls himself a hooper. And he wants to play basketball professionally. He wants to go to the NBA. And that's the biggest thing for him. And he's got one more year to do that. And if he can capitalize financially, good for him. He's probably looking for somebody who can help develop him as a big man to get to the NBA. He wants to go to the NBA, period. And if you could guarantee him a path to the NBA, he would do that. So at Boise State, they don't have an NBA pedigree, but that's not going to really stop Drew Fielder if he is an NBA guy. So I think, he could probably stay and hang here. But that's a tough one, man. It's a real tough one. And I just hope it doesn't happen, man. Me personally, as a fan, and I frankly become more of a fan during the basketball season. I buy my tickets. I sit in the stands. I take my family, and I don't sit on press row. I don't go to press conferences. I've become emotionally connected to watching Drew Fielder play basketball, and emotionally, I want him to be on this basketball team next year. And I think the community feels the same way, and we're all desperate for this program to give us something, one little thing right now, because there really isn't a lot to sell with this program. What if you hired Kobe Carl as an assistant, put him in charge of the offense, and brought back Drew Fielder? All of a sudden, you're creating the kind of buzz that Jeremiah Dickey wants to sell this offseason. And based on the things that you've heard, based on the things that we're hearing, this administration is getting a little bit more involved in basketball because they know the stakes this offseason. They know how important it is. And I think that they sense the same thing that I've been saying publicly for a couple of years. This program has hit its head on a ceiling, and it needs a little help. I'm willing to keep Leon Rice. I think he's a good coach for this program, and I want to keep Leon Rice around. But I'm also not afraid to say that this program under Leon Rice has hit its ceiling. And so maybe now it needs some outside help. And here comes the administration. Maybe they're going to get more involved and try to help transition this offseason. I'm okay with all that. So many things are on the table right now. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely crazy. And they need a couple of things to turn their direction. And I have a feeling it's going to happen today, over the weekend, first couple of days of next week. It's going to get ugly and weird. The transfer portal opens officially a week from this Tuesday after the Final Four championship games. So it's going to happen fast, BJ.
Yeah, and we're out of time, but this is a discussion for another week, Prater. But this past year, my understanding is a Boise State basketball player was the highest paid rev share athlete on campus. Dylan Andrews, I believe, made more than anybody on the football team made, or at least was close. And if you're talking $1 million possibly for a Drew Fielder or whoever their best player is next year, is there anybody on the football team making that amount that you know of?
I don't think so. I know for a fact that Maddox Madsen last year had at least a $500,000 package, and I would imagine that's going up a little bit this year. Okay. So,
but the fact that possibly 2 years in a row a basketball player is making more than anybody on the football team. I know it's different with budgets, and you get 10 players. One star player in basketball can make maybe a bigger difference than one star player in football. I don't know, but that's a discussion as well that I think some fans would say the highest paid player at a Boise State should always be a football player. But look
at how fast this. Look at how fast college athletics is moving, and I think we realize that. But we have some tangible evidence right here in Boise, Idaho. 2 years ago, it took $400,000 package to keep Ashton Jeanty in Boise. You couldn't afford $4 million to keep Ashton Jeanty in Boise right now. It's gone that fast. So $400,000 to keep Ashton Jeanty in Boise 2 years ago, and now we're giving a basketball player who literally has played basketball here for 9 months, and we're giving him $1 million, and that's not enough. That is how fast college athletics is changing.
Well, speaking of things changing, Mike, we're looking forward to getting down to the North End Zone project here in about an hour. I know you got a meeting and things. Sorry we went late here, but looking forward to seeing the update on the North End Zone. Get inside there. That's going to be fun. And then I assume looking forward to talking to you guys this afternoon.
Let's do it, brother. Let's do it. We'll see you in an hour.
Mike Prater, again, if you missed their interview with Cage Casey, you can go back and watch that on their YouTube channel and their various channels as well. And they had a great interview with Cage in studio. That was cool yesterday, so appreciate him for doing. Did he sign anything on the wall?
Yeah. He signed. We signed our wall, and then he signed one of those Jackson's trading cards for us as well. So we got it sitting right next to our Ashton Jeanty trading card, our Tyson Degan, our Max Rice trading card. So our autograph trading card collection here in the Man Cave is getting pretty spicy. I like it.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Thanks to all you for watching. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Some I didn't get to, but love you and appreciate all of you. Go support the sponsors. We're going to go tour the North End Zone. They'll have plenty of thoughts on that at 3:00 on Idaho Sports Talk, and then I'll join them as well as we talk Boise State. So appreciate it, Mike, and appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.